Hi. Okay, I'm Mia's mum. Mia's 18, so much like Renata, Mia has drug-refractory epilepsy, and that was terrifying to find out. So Mia had her first seizure on the 4th of February 2024, and about an hour later she had another one and was resuscitated in front of me. And then she was put into ICU all night and then eventually came out and transferred hospitals. And then she went into, I think she had like 13 or 14 that week. And we've done the journey. It is very, very hard for Mia. It's been financially difficult for everybody, but, you know, we blindly do not give up. I guess, you know, Mia is so brave. She actually makes jokes about, you know, coming back to life, like, Mum, what's your problem? I'm like, Mia, it's not funny. Another time we were driving, so one of Mia's seizures was long drives. And another time she had a seizure on the side of the road, and we thought we'd lost her that time. Her sister was running around frantically trying to find someone. We didn't know where we were. Ambulances couldn't find us. She was completely grey. And she has midazolam to stop her, but there's a time frame as well, and the midazolam wasn't working that day. So Mia, we have tried. Like, I don't think any one of us here today has a child to let epilepsy define their quality of life. But it can be really lonely when you're fighting to give your child. Like, you're in a system where you've got neurologists and they're wonderful, but it needs to be looked at where there's, like, you know, subspecialists like epileptologists. Like, epilepsy is not like, it's not the same. Every one of our kids are different. Every one of us. Like, you take our kids to school and you get, you know, the school health nurse and they're like, we've seen a seizure, we've got it. Like, we can lock the midazolam in the school office. No, you can't. Like, this person can't breathe. You don't have 2 minutes and you don't even know what you're looking at, you know. And then in cases like, you know, Mia's, and I think Helen said the same, it affects our kids, our other kids. You know, Mia's sister is an amazing student. She's at home with her today looking after her. You know, she's gone down to 30% attendance and then she struggles to catch back up again. There's a system out there that, like, kids, and I'm sure there's adults too, that are doing absolutely nothing wrong, are not able to meet basic human rights as a person. You know, Mia refers to herself now as an 18-year-old of, I need to be babysat. It affects her relationship with everybody, but most of all, it affects her with herself. Because I think one of the things that a lot of people is, like, we all try and avoid is, these kids think, what point is there to life? Like, this is really what we're looking at. You know, Mia's, like, made so many jokes and we're like, that's not funny. But realistically, you have to take it on board and you go, well, I have to get better. You know, I have to learn more. I have to learn how to open airways. I have to learn CPR. I have to, you know, like, I remember once on the side of the road with an ambulance and the ambulance said, well, we called the emergency department. You know, she's better off with you. And I'm like, guys, I'm out of my days, so if you want to give her a lift, I'll meet you at home with her. So, like, when we're buddying up, and I think one of the most important things that you can see in this is people live in terror. Like, they live absolutely terrified. And, like, I remember calling NDIS twice. And I'm like, guys, we need help. I'm a single mum. I've been let go from 2 jobs. No one will give me a job on a house on a carer's pension. Like, everything's going downhill. I'm struggling to, like, buy medication. I'm struggling to buy food. I'm in over my head. And at the same time, Mia was at a hospital that was seriously letting her down. She's like, Mum, they're testing on me. Mum, they're learning from me. And she was quite, she didn't say it politely, okay, but she's a kid and she's terrified. And I had to write a letter to the hospital and say, guys, we've had to call Ryan's rule on you twice. You told me that we weren't even going to need it. And then you came back and said, I'm so sorry, I'm getting everyone out of bed. Like, she didn't even recognise me. And then it wasn't just, I just was like, I have to find someone to help this kid. Like, and that's me as a single mum. Like, this hospital is killing her. Like, I need help. And she was saying it as well. So we searched and searched and searched. And then I was talking to someone one day, and he said, I think I know someone that can help. And that's how I learnt the power of an epileptologist. And in 3 hours, he said, Mia's got drug-resistant epilepsy. So prior to that, we had neurologists at school test Keppra on her. Up, down, up, down. I had stuff thrown at me. I saw a beautiful, quiet-natured, loving girl become so aggressive and so angry. The police one day were like, this is domestic violence. And I'm like, this is Keppra. And much like everyone else, we all stay awake at night. I'm pretty sure when we say that, you're waiting for bumps, you read everything. Like you read up about SUDEP, you read up about diet, you read up about Keppra. You know, one of the biggest things that I found when I came across the private neurologist that we found was he said the first thing we're going to do is get her off Keppra because they made Briviac, and Briviac was actually designed as a second without all this stuff. And I thought, why is everyone out there, why are all these kids out there like being given Keppra and the same thing when someone's just told me, like within the industry, it's gone. You know, like there's suicide in little children because of Keppra. Like, and it's terrifying. And I'm not going to go on about it because if there's one thing we've learned is we can't change this. So we just need to stay positive, get better, keep going. But it's really sad. And I think like when I came into this today, if there's 2 or 3 things that I would urge, you know, it's that NDIS thing. I mean, it's just my opinion that if someone needs an emergency medication to keep them alive, then they're entitled to some kind of support. I mean, I had to map out how to get from Noosa to the Mater in a lane if she had a seizure, to get her out without being on traffic, without being in a tunnel, without like, and I'm just like, no wonder, like, you know, and then I'm obviously not fun to be around, like, because I'm like, Mia, don't do this, don't fall asleep, blah, blah. Like, it's just like, it's really, really sad because from, you know, the school system going, oh, we're not going to, you know, administer midazolam. I'm like, guys, it looks like the fish you get with your sushi. Snap, put it in, save her life. Sorry, we're going to have to fill out 4 or 5 forms and get 4 weeks of stuff. Like, I'm just like, this epilepsy thing is just not what everyone thinks it is, you know. And it's worse than your child, losing your child in front of you physically like I did that day, but then you also see you losing your child every day, your life, their siblings' lives. Like, it breaks my heart. It's one of the things that I think really, really needs to be looked at. And I actually asked Mia today, what would you say if you said, like, if you could bring up anything? And she said, I would not be letting medical students diagnose anyone. And I'm like, that's fair. So Mia had glandular fever, Scoo missed it, she got temperatures, she had her next seizure, she was taken to Nambour. Someone else said that she had anxiety, she could have had COVID, she was locked in a room. I thank God a nurse came and said, what are you doing in here? She'd done a COVID test yesterday because it was not long after that she had a seizure and needed to be resuscitated. So there's got to be more education and awareness, but also there has to be a we can do this, like blindly, like a mum trying to keep a kid alive. Like, I did not bring this kid into the world to waste away in a house with epilepsy. Like, you can do this, you can do that. Like, and find what those things are. Find psychologists, social workers that specialise in epilepsy, and if they don't, teach them. Like, find coaches that go, okay, here's a young person, we can put you in jobs in childcares or whatever, you know, schools, environments, medical places where people are ready to go to help someone with a seizure rather than have someone thinking, I don't fit in, I don't deserve to be lived, or even worse, I'm sorry we're homeless, Mum, because we got epilepsy. I'm sorry we don't have a job. No kid should have to say sorry for that. That's not their responsibility, that's ours. So, I don't know. I just reckon keep at it. But I'm very, very strong on a neurologist and epileptologist and NDIS being like looking back into it, because they said that you need to have 9 to however many seizures a week. And the one week, like when Mia had over like 13 or 14, we had to reteach her things like 2-minute noodles take 5 minutes, what people eat for breakfast. She had complete memory loss. You know, she got in the car like every day for months and went with a drink, and I'm like, the drink holder's there. Like, people don't realise, and it's really got to be addressed, because it's looking the other way why Australians are in real danger.